Retro or Die.
Now, let's talk about the Resident Evil 3 Collector's Edition for the remaster, or the reboot of the game. I did this before in a previous podcast episode. I talked about how I thought the Collector's Edition for Resident Evil 2 was extremely lazy for the money it was being asked for. And not much has changed. The Resident Evil 3 Collector's Edition, I'm looking at it and I'm confused. I'm very confused because it's just the same exact thing as the Resident Evil 2 Collector's Edition, except instead of a Leon statue, you get a Jill Valentine statue. Who's the star of Resident Evil 3? We all know it's the Nemesis. He's on the cover of Resident Evil 3. When you look at the reboot artwork that's going to be the cover art for Resident Evil 3, who stands out the most? Is it Jill and Carlos? No, it's Nemesis standing above them. We all want Nemesis to be the figure that we were going to buy with a collector's edition for 3. I just don't understand. The figure itself, don't get me wrong, it doesn't look terrible or anything. It just, there's nothing cool about it. I mean, it's Jill Valentine. We've had plenty of Jill Valentine figures come out over the years they're perfectly good. And a Jill Valentine figure could come out again and be fine for people to buy, but we all know that Nemesis is the star of the game. It is the key figure that you run away from the entire game or fight throughout the entire game. He's the main threat. And having one of the main staple human characters as the figures that you buy in these games be the collector's edition selling point for me is just lazy and it's boring. I won't be buying it. The Resident Evil 3 Remake comes out April 3rd. And it comes with a digital soundtrack, which I have a huge issue with. If I'm buying a collector's edition, nothing for that game should be digital. I want all of the products to be physical. This was never a problem when collector's editions would come out for games and you'd get a soundtrack. You would get the physical soundtrack. Sometimes, just like the BioShock 2 collection, you'd get an actual record of the soundtrack. An actual LP giant record. So yeah, digital soundtracks for me are completely out the window. I don't care about that. I should get the physical version, and then if I want to, I can transfer it to iTunes and have it digitally on my phone. Not for it to just disappear whenever, that time comes when Capcom's just like, oh, we don't want this anymore, and possibly could take it away from you. No Nemesis statue. I already said that's a huge, one of the biggest reasons why I won't be getting the collector's edition. When you look at the map that it comes with, the double-sided physical map that you get for the game, it looks like trash. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It looks bad. If you've ever played Silent Hill 2 and you open up the map to look around where you got to go or where you've been to navigate your location, it looks just as bad as that. It looks like the Silent Hill 2 map. It just looks not good. I could go buy a road map right now from any gas station, write in permanent marker Resident Evil 3 or whatever, Raccoon City on it, and pin it on my wall, and it would look identical to that. So for me, that's, why would I want that? And the pre-order skin thing. I have a huge issue with... I had a huge issue with it last time, too, with the Resident Evil 2 remake, that these skins that you're getting digitally for pre-ordering the game is kind of a slap in the face to those people that grew up with this game. Skins and collector's items within the game were something that you had to unlock. It was a puzzle or a time frame that you had to get at a certain ranking by the end of the game. You unlocked different things, some of which were skins. And that was always a main staple in Resident Evil, all the way until, I want to say, Resident Evil 5, when the digital market started taking off. But taking features away and putting them behind a paywall, especially when it comes to Resident Evil, the classic versions, is a huge thing that's not good to me. Don't do things like that. It would be just the same as if they were to finally remake Resident Evil 4, like everyone wants, and then charging you to play the Ada Wong story that came with the game for free, and charging you to be able to access it. Now, I'm hoping Capcom doesn't do that down the road, but if it does, timestamp this podcast right now, because I could see greed, getting ahead of Capcom once again. They've proven they can do that before. They've done it before. They'll do it again. Hopefully they don't. I don't want them to, but if they do, you heard it here first. So yeah. Resident Evil 3, though, I am excited to play it. I am excited to buy it. I won't be getting the collector's edition once again, sadly, because they're so lazy. There's no reason for me to get it. I've seen reviews of the Resident Evil 2 collector's edition, and the statue, the 14-inch, not even a statue, it's like a plastic statue. So it's just lame to me. The Resident Evil 2 and 3 toys that came out in the 90s by Palisades are better quality than these ones coming out now in 2020, which should not be the case. And if you know that the game is called Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, even though they're not calling it Nemesis in this one, are they? They're just calling it Resident Evil 3. Anyway, the star is Nemesis. Just like in Resident Evil 2, the star is like one of the biohazards. It's a licker, or it's a tyrant. It's William Birkin. It's Mr. X. But we didn't get a figure of those in the collector's edition. You didn't even get a Claire figure. You couldn't even decide if you wanted Leon or Claire. You just got Leon. I don't know. What the fuck, Capcom?